Well, hello. Thank you for this interview. I'm a big fan of the show, by the way, and you're. Oh, thank you. Yes, yes, it's true. Right now the world of the magicians is in a strange situation because all of you have no powers, apart from Julia, who showed some sparkles at the end of season 2. But how will this not having powers affect the characters? I mean, is it going to last for a while?
Yeah, I mean, we start off and we pick up right where we left off. Magic is not there, and it affects everyone really differently. Penny actually can still travel, so that's exciting, and so he still retains his position with the library, and they're putting him to work. But yeah, I mean, it affects us all really differently.
Yeah, I think that, it's called The Magicians, and so magic is a really important thing, and I think for every character they have a very different relationship with magic. A lot of these characters, like Quentin, they've wanted magic their whole life. It's all they care about. If they could just have this one thing, their life would be good. And characters like Alice didn't want anything to do with magic because she's grown up with magic and she's learned to crave magic because she was an infant. So I think this season we'll get to see what everyone's relationship to magic is, because how badly do they want to get it back? Who doesn't want to get it back? That kind of thing. And it's much more of a character journey this year. But there's still some magic. Like some of the creatures on the show who, when magic got taken away, if they were a magical creature, they still have some magic left. So, and they're in pursuit of magic the entire season on this quest. So the idea of magic is always around. So it still plays a very big role this season.
And the fans have seen the evolution of your characters through season 1 and season 2, but in fact there was a change in Alice last season because she kind of came back to life and she changed. But in this new season, will Alice find a way to be the same she was before, or is she changed forever?
I obviously think about that a lot and get asked that a lot by fans because some of them love the original Alice, some of them love Nif and Alice, and I love both. And I think that that's the beauty of our show is when something happens to a character on our show, we don't just move on and forget about it. It builds character, just like in real life when something traumatic happens to a person, it affects them and it changes them. And I think that's what's great is all these characters on our show, when something happens, it changes that character. So for Alice, I don't think she'll ever go back to who she was when we first met her, nor do I want her to be. And I really strongly wanted to start her out in a very simple place so that I had a lot of different places to go with her as the seasons progress. So I think that, she'll never be the same girl. And I mean, I miss playing Nif and Alice. I love being Nif and Alice, but she's kind of both. Nif will never leave her, and Alice will always be Alice. It's just,
But at some point, will this change affect Alice and Quentin's relationship?
Of course. Everything that's happened has affected their relationship, I think. I mean, Quentin, he spent an entire season last year trying to get his girlfriend back and the girl that he fell in love with. And I think him realizing that she's different is a huge part of growth in their relationship, and I think both of them growing as separate people is very important. And I love their love story. It's my favorite thing in the books, and I think that no matter what happens between them and how much they change, they will always love each other. It's just a matter of adapting and learning to love the new version of her.
And what's going to happen with Penny, our favorite traveler? Tell me, what can you say about it?
Well, I can say it will be surprising. I can say it will be fun-ish. It was fun to play. I don't know how fun it will be to watch, actually. Yeah, the writers really have taken a lot of risks this year, and it's really fun to see where they take Penny. I can't say a lot because it is quite shocking, and not just what happens at the end of episode 3, but what happens at the end of episode 10 and into episode 11. That was actually, to me, the shock between episodes 10 and 11, what happened with Penny, is actually more shocking to me than what happened in episode 3. But I think it's beautiful. As a fan of Penny, if I separate, I'm thrilled with the journey that he gets to go on this year. And I think we finally get to see him growing maybe more, if not fully, into the man that we've always wanted him to be.
But we knew he had cancer, And do you think the knowledge of having cancer has changed the way he is or the way he thinks?
No, I definitely do. I mean, Penny's, my joke was he's nearly died at least twice a season. And he's never learned anything, so maybe this time he finally will, and I think that he is. Right when we see him off the bat, you see someone that's more accepting, less of a fighter, less that he has to fight everything that's in life, where he can surrender to the universe and to things that are bigger than him, and it's really fascinating to watch what that does to him, because it does change him.
So we'll keep our fingers crossed for them. But what are you most excited for the fans to see in this new season?
I'm most excited for, this is me being like a storytelling nerd, but I'm most excited for the new ways we tell the story. I think that the show is taking more risks. It's bigger, there's more scope. We have a boat that I didn't get to go on, which I'm upset about still. But it's just, we're telling the story in really unique and exciting and fun ways, and it keeps the audience on the toes. It kept me on my toes. I mean, I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think, by season 3, the writers, the showrunners, the actors, we all know what this show is now. We're not second guessing ourselves, and we know these characters better than anybody. So from the get-go, we just start going into the story. And this season, you get to see different characters with different characters. So like Alice gets to have scenes with Julia finally, which never happened. And there's just different pairings. Yeah. And that's exciting, and it's new dynamics. And yeah, we have a boat, which is so cool. I mean, people who love fantasy, I mean, I'm a big fantasy nerd. This season is just so much bigger and grander. And
yeah, I'll say one thing that I think that everyone can get behind and hopefully will be excited about, but you see us together again, which was something that we did a lot in the first season, happened less in the second season because of the story. This season, we're all back, which was really fun to do, to be working together, because, it's just more fun that way, but it also leads to some really fun scenes.
Yeah, when you get all of us together, all 6 of us, it gets pretty out of control and hilarious. So yeah, I'm excited for those scenes.
And did you have a favorite moment or a favorite episode?
I have a lot. Episode 4 was definitely one of my favorite to do, and I think I love the episode. Episode 8 I think is the most exciting for me as like from not like personally just what I think of the show. I think episode 9 will be quite iconic to the show, and then I mean the finale is going to be the finale.
Would be amazing. I really loved. I'm lucky on the show. We get to explore Alice's family, and we get to see her background and where she comes from, and the actors who play my parents. They're just Judith and Tom are so amazing and hilarious. So we get to see more of that, and episode 3 is a pretty hilarious episode with them.
So basically, we've named half the season.
The entire season.
Favorite,
And what do you like most about your characters?
This season or just in general?
In general.
Well, I'm going to go back to the growth. I'm loving watching him grow. I think that gives a lot of hope, and I think that's an empowering message, is that the growth is capable, and that it's not only capable, but it's necessary, and it happens, and to see what happens and the rewards that happen when you grow. I think that's my favorite. I know that's not exactly answering your question, but that's the thing that's popping to mind right now.
I really look up to Alice. She's so smart and independent, and that's something that I'm really proud to show on television. And even though sometimes she makes mistakes, just like all of our characters, she's very driven and isn't afraid to go after what she wants. And I don't know, I just really look up to her intelligence.
And how would you describe the 3rd season of The Magicians?
It's so
one
insane.
surprise after another. I think that we go places we, as the audience, will never expect. I don't know. It's hard to describe a whole season in a. I'm terrible at that. I talk too much.
Well, no, and it's impossible with our show because every episode is so different from the last, and so many characters and so many changes. So I don't know. It's very rich with.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for this interview, really.